You're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our online news review. Don't forget to send in your comments to our WhatsApp number displayed on your screen or onto our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. So yes, two of my co-hosts as usual are here with me, and we're going to do our online review. But before that, so Miriam, what should we expect on your segment today?
Right. So today we are discussing a chronic lung disease, which is asthma, which is affecting a lot of young people in the world, with I think a high number in Ghana. And so we feel there is a need for us to have that discussion. But we also want to target people that are already having it and looking at ways to encourage them to practice safe exercises.
Okay.
So basically that is what we'll be talking about today.
So, Clemens, what should we expect on your segment as well?
Yeah, so we're bringing the latest business news that needs to deal with IMF.
Okay.
They said on the 2nd of December, there's going to be the third review for the third release of the fund of the IMF deal. And also, Finance Minister also made a comment regarding the recent power outage. And it's as a result of one of the institutions who have shut down operations. So these are many more other things you'll be discussing today on the business update segment.
Okay. And then on the main segment, we'll be discussing some agricultural policies and some of the ways to support our farmers in the country in light of the upcoming Farmers' Day as well. So stay tuned, stay glued to Cocoa Digest Morning Show. These are the things that each segment is bringing to us. So quickly, let's get into our online news review. So what is trending this week?
Daira, we woke up to a very sad news this morning, and we cannot bypass it. We have to talk about it because a great tree has fallen in Ghana in the political, phase. So our very own Ekriadonko, who happens to be the founder of the Ghana Freedom Party, and a political aspirant who was part of the politicians or presidential candidates that were going to be voted for, has passed on this morning, sadly. And that has, raised a lot of concerns among Ghanaians. Some people are attributing her death to, some political gimmicks. And I'm even surprised that why would people even, affiliate her death to such a thing? Because it's a sad thing. She's just like all of us. We can all die at any time. So should we always read meanings into people's death? So because it's getting to an election and someone dies, we attribute the person's death to juju or
as
sacrifice.
Africans and Ghanaians specifically, we are very superstitious, and things like elections are quite, pivotal for the nation. So it is very on brand for us to think, or for people to think or attribute these things to something spiritual, because so at the end of the election, somebody has to come out the victor or a winner. And sometimes there needs to be sacrifices made.
Are you also saying this?
No. I'm not justifying it. I'm saying that it is very, very, what's the word? Very, very common to see people talking about this in that light, because we think that to gain something, you must give something, and sometimes even something very valuable. So maybe some sort of human sacrifice. Because when accidents keep happening towards election time or even Christmas and things like that, they are attributed to some sort of spiritual backing and things. So
yes, that's very true. But notwithstanding, the honorable, let me use honorable, per my point of view, is not related to any sacrifice or any sort. We are yet to know the cause of her death. That is what we should just get to know from the various institutions, what happened to her, because it's very sad. And there's a lot of concern raised over this few hours of her death. The first question is the presidential numbering going to change? Because there have been a lot of concern from other political parties that they want to change the number of the NDC presidential candidates on the ballot. And Ekuadonko happens to be between the number 1 to number 8. So people are asking the question that after the passing away of Ekuadonko, is the numbering on the presidential ballot paper going to change? That's the first question. And I believe Electoral Commission will come out to answer. But notwithstanding, since there is a notice of pool outside, that is one concern people are also raising, that since there's already a notice of pool outside, would there still be a change? And that's we hope to see. And there are another issue surrounding elections, since with the issue of our mother Ekuadonko happens to be the fact that just last Sunday, Electoral Commission is initially they contracted Yasako Printing, that's Yasako company, to print the presidential ballot papers and that of the parliamentary. But last Sunday, they released a notice that the contract has been taken from Yasako Printing to, I think, Bad Printing Company. They are now in charge of the printing of this very materials that we are supposed to use. So these are many questions. I try to find out what Electoral Commission will do around this, but there are laws governing electoral processes. So we wouldn't say much into whether the presidential numbering will change or it won't change. We can't say more into it. So we are just hoping for what Electoral Commission will say moving forward.
Well, the little I also know is that when a presidential candidate, passes on few weeks or months to an election, his running mate or her running mate will take place and also get another running mate for the, how do I put it, the replaced presidential candidates. So that is what people are also asking, if they are going to do that. But people will be wondering who Ekuadonko was. Let me read something small. So she originally from Efija Kwabre in the Ashanti region, worked as a farmer and a trader before entering into politics. In 2012, she founded the GFP to support the rights of the poor and marginalized. She was also determined to make change. Despite numerous challenges, Ekuadonko remained committed to her political goals and has run multiple presidential elections and has won none. Her platform includes support for farmers, women, and the youth. She plans to provide women with accessible loans and assist women jailed due to loan debt by giving them a 3-year repayment period. And so this is the kind of person we've lost. I'm personally sad because I was, rooting for her. So because of that, I decided to wear a black shoe to mourn her.
Yeah, showing your political affiliation. So we are apolitical, young lady. Let's take a few comments here. So Barrister K-Rich says, I love. Today's quote is exceptional. You guys are looking flamboyant as always. Thank you. Then we have Obiba Wilson. Hey, this man says, good morning, my Yaira and your fine co-host. Please, I don't want trouble with Miri. Then we have HM Joe says, oh, such a mighty tree cannot fall at this moment. I do not want to think of the cause of death. I do not want to think the cause of death is otherwise in the political space. Well, I'm sure we will get an autopsy report sooner or later. But I think Ekuadonko was she was in her 70s, right? Yeah. And in Africa here, we tend to have our leaders very old, very aged, between the 60s and 70s, some even getting to 80, if not more. And our constitution says, or the labor laws say that at least retirement should be by 60. So it begs the question, why then do we have people, presidential candidates or people leading us at such ripe ages where they should be resting? I think because Africans, we attribute respect to age and wisdom and things, but I think somehow we need to start checking it and bringing the age down, because I think some of the countries, almost every few weeks, their president is out of the country seeking medical support and things like that. To what end though? Because if Ekuadonko was our president now, and then we've just lost her, and maybe you did, okay, sorry, let's just say it's just age, natural factors, age, because of her age. She's our president. Who then leads? Who then takes up the reins? These are things that we need to consider as a state.
So we even lost, a certain precedent.
Yes, and the vice took over.
So
and notwithstanding, when you go to the laws, I think it's age 40, you can be a president. Yes, from 40 years. So that one, it's not per the laws of Ghana. It's per the interest of whoever wants to run. Because currently we have young people like Kwame Bediakon. He is very young and he's running, but because of who the people want, that's whom they vote for. When you go to Nigeria, we had a young man who was running, but they decided to give it to the old person.
And that's
so
what
it's
I'm talking about,
our perception.
The citizen, we attribute age with wisdom, and sometimes it may not always be the case. So we tend to have 80-year-olds leading us when they are sitting in meetings, and most of the time they are tired and asleep.
Okay, so on that note, let me give you one trending story, because another trending story happens to be Infante Pem beats Presec Legon in nail-biting tiebreaker to secure finals slot.
Glory be to God.
Hey. So finally, Presec is down.
Oh, seriously?
Infante Pem from Cape Coast. Infante Pem Warriors. Those at this other moment to me are fighting. I know one of our main sound man is not this other. I know, but moment to me Infante Pem beat you.
Feel his pain.
Yes,
Feel his pain.
I love the unity and camaraderie that the National Science and Maths Quiz brings. Everybody affiliated to their school. So even when your school does not make, I think my school made it this time for the first time in a very large number of years. It's true.
Which school?
I was homeschooled, sorry. And the comments and people, so you see people wearing their old school uniforms, and it just brings some sort of unity in that small time of that period of time. So I know that a lot of the boys whose hearts have been broken by gay girls, they are always just happy when gay is not able to make it. Like Presec that hasn't been. Look at how she said glory be to God. There's a story there.
Seriously, because I don't understand why a particular school win more than 5.
But it's because they are up there. You see, those watching you who happens to be Presec students, when they find it, they might beat you because they'll say you are against them.
So we shouldn't. I don't understand, but
And I love the fact that the Presec old students are very, very invested in their school, and they do a lot to support. If other schools take up, because you find a Presec old boy, he's probably in his 60s, and he's very, very much committed to his school, all the contributions, all the things that they do. So aside government doing what they need to do for the school, the old boys also help out, and these are probably factors contributing to Presec's, and
that's very true. And notwithstanding, I think currently most old boys are doing same. Most old students are doing same. Recently, you've been seeing Accra doing mightily for their school. Addis Ababa doing mighty for their school. I know the sound man is telling me they did a great job for their school.
Yes, a lot. School. You've not mentioned your school.
The icons of excellence, Evergreen Shas. You are doing great for them. What is the name
of the school, Clement?
Yeah, but so there is Shama Senior High School.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Shama Senior High School. So there's another trending story. What about yours? Your school?
Okay, so we are somewhere up there.
Somewhere.
St. Francis Girls Senior High School.
Okay. I think my school, so I saw a few posts on Facebook. The old students are also helping the school out every now and then. So yes, but I was homeschooled, so.
Clement, before you come to your trending story, we cannot skip this trending news, because it is, a great blow for the country, and we are all jubilating along. Our very own Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shirley Ayoko Botchwey, has been, elected as the Secretary General for Commonwealth. And this has, brought some kind of joy to a lot of people, looking at the weight it carries to be a Secretary General to, a voluntary association of about, I think, 56 independent, and equal sovereign states. It is not a joke, and we are so happy for our minister, because, as I said earlier, it has more than 56 independent states, and we being part of the executive board will bring a lot of benefits to the country. I saw people commenting on that post, how is this position is going to, benefit us as citizens of Ghana? And I'm like, really? Really? Even President Nana Akufo-Addo, he being a president, his family members are benefiting.
Actually.
Everyone close to him are benefiting.
So, as he being president, Ghanaians are benefiting.
We are all benefiting.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. And so, if our name, Ghana, is being sent out there,
it's a good news. On that note, let me also bring out this. Our own Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban Smana Kingsford Babin, the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, has been re-elected for the second term as chair of the Conference of Speakers and President of African Legislatures. So he has been re-elected for the second time. The election took place, that was on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and
so with regards to the happenings in Parliament, I know you were the one following.
Yes, Yaira, this morning I saw a notice, and I'm yet to dig deep, if really. And it says that Babin rejects Supreme Court's rights on vacancy seat ruling, returns document. And I will give viewers update on this very story, because when I saw this, I was like, really? Then something is about to unfold in the Parliament House moving forward. Yes. My last story happens to be US announces new visa restriction for policy for people undermining democracy in Ghana. Yes. So that one to bring details of the story later.
I think I have that with my daily graphic.
Okay, so if you can.
Graphic. Okay, so the United States government has announced a visa restriction policy targeted at individuals undermining democracy in Ghana ahead of the December 7, 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Now, the U.S., in a statement issued on Monday, October 28, 2024, emphasized the U.S. government's commitment to supporting democratic processes in Ghana. The policy, according to the statement, aims to safeguard Ghana's democratic institutions and ensure a peaceful, transparent, and credible electoral process. It stated that the restrictions will apply to individuals believed to be responsible for or complicit in undermining democracy in Ghana, including those who manipulate or rig the electoral process, use violence to intimidate or coerce people, or engage in other activities designed to improperly influence the conduct and outcome of an election. So basically, that is what we have in the news this morning.
So how would that even work? Because if a specific political party rigs the elections, how would the people be identified and then be given these restrictions? Or they would, because it's very easy to just be caught in the mix. So how then, I think I would like to know how this would be implemented so that the innocent ones who went to vote peacefully and, follow the correct electoral process, they would not be caught in the mix as victims.
So I think it should be done in line with the police, because the police always give us reports on happenings, being it violent situations or not. And we hope to see the details of this very activity.
Our very own protesters will also be saying, speak to us directly, don't speak to us indirectly. And so it is a warning to all of us that we have to comport ourselves as the elections approach, because anytime I speak about protesters,
I was even going to ask another question. That if after the elections, an opposition, one party comes to accuse the other that they rigged the elections, would they now do investigations, or they'll just take swift action, taking their word for it or something? It's a very good question,
because it has happened before. I think the previous election, the incumbent government won, and then the opposition said they rigged the election, the back and forth. So it is something that we should anticipate as, citizens in this country, because it is likely to happen. As to how to identify the culprits is
that's
what
where
we
the
are also
problem is.
talking about.
So I think let's hope to see the rest of the details of such a story.
Okay. So to the online news, this story. So La General Hospital project halted due to alleged lack of funds. The government's commitment to completing and opening at least the outpatient department of the La General Hospital by October this year is in jeopardy. Now, the work on the hospital project has come to a standstill, and the reconstruction of the La General Hospital has been ongoing since 2020, when President Akufo-Addo initiated the project following the demolition of the old facility. Although construction resumed this year with a deadline set for October to provide OPD services to the residents of La, it appears that this goal will not be met due to workers abandoning the site over financial disputes. During our visit on the afternoon of October 28, the project site resembled a deserted area, and while the seven-story staff accommodation unit is nearly finished, the main hospital structure remains on the ground floor level. Reports indicate that workers have not been on site for about a week, leading to concerns about the project's progress. Chris Annan, a former administrator at the La General Polyclinic prior to its demolition, expressed disappointment regarding the situation. So with this, how do we demolish a hospital? Saying that we want to, rebuild, and less than halfway through the project, no funds.
So Clement.
Mimi.
Okay, so what I read about this project was that it was supposed to be taken over by a company in China, I think somewhere 2020. And due to our very own COVID-19, it disrupted the negotiations that was going on between Ghana's government and then the people in China. And that the people in China ended up pulling out of the project because they couldn't support with the funding of the project anymore. And that was when government decided to take it up on itself to reconstruct it. So that is the little bit I know about the question you were asking.
Okay, so yesterday, as late in the evening, Ministry of Health released a statement disputing the claims that the project is halted. So let me just read. For immediate release from the Public Relations Department of Ministry of Health, they said the Ministry of Health wishes to address recent reports, specifically from one of the media houses, regarding the construction of the La General Hospital. It has been reported that the project has been halted, causing undue concern among the residents and the public at large. The ministry would like to rectify the inaccuracy presented in this report. So they are saying that the project is not halted.
And that they are working.
And that they are working on it. And let me just read the last paragraph. Then we pick it from a different angle. The last paragraph says that the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with all relevant stakeholders, will continue to closely monitor and facilitate the progress of the La General Hospital to ensure its timely completion. That is where my emphasis is to ensure its timely completion. We respectfully request the media to consult our office for accurate information before disseminating reports that may cause unnecessary alarm within the public. The ministry wishes to confirm unequivocal. So they want to confirm that the La General Hospital project has not been halted, signed by the public relation officer. Mimi, so I think one of the media houses did their own story on this yesterday when they visited the site. And speaking to some of the residents, they revealed that workers are not on site for about a week now. And they are wondering why such is happening. So per their own research, they got to understand that, okay, it's because the funds has not been released to them. And also in this statement, Ministry of Health says that the contractor has submitted a statement for the payment of the funds to their account. So equally, they are also working on such thing. So they believe that it is not about halting, or it's not about the project not being completed, but it's about lack of fund. That is from one of the media houses. But let me come to the speaking to this press release from Ministry of Health. With the last statement, they said that they are going to ensure that the completion of this project happens on time. And the time we are talking about is that they told the public that they are going to complete this project by the end of October. Today is 29th, or yes. So if by the end of October, today is 29th, so we have
2 more days.
2 more days. 2 more days. So when you check the story, realize that the OPD, the hospital itself is at the ground floor. That is the OPD section, and it has not been completed. So I wonder if there was going to be a magic within 2 days for them to complete on time.
Right.
Yeah. So that is one question that I think the Ministry of Health needs to also equally let the public understand. If the completion will not be within the time frame as they told us some days ago or some months ago, they should come back to tell the public that, oh no, we said by the end of October. This time around, we can't complete by the end of October, but rather we do it in this particular time. So there's a lot of impact. Okay.
I don't know, but I also read, in the news where President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo early this year, I think somewhere in February, made mention of the fact that the project was going to be completed in the next 28 months. So I don't know if there is a mix-up somewhere, but he made mention that it was going to be completed in the next 28 months.
So, yes, what I was, I think, when the demolition exercise was done. So when you check the 28th month, it's going to counter somewhere by the end before we enter into election. That was how the project is supposed to be. But our residents are saying that they doubt if really the October ending is really going to work. But Yara, the one concern I have is that in as much as we are waiting for the completion of this project, the Ministry of Health made other provisions for the people of La after demolition of the hospital. Or more, polyclinic be more. Did they give them a place that they can go to, or they are supposed to travel all the way to Lekma, right? Yes, around Teshi, that place for healthcare. So all these things are things that citizens are expecting, because when you read the news from one of the media houses, they said that a resident reported that was last Sunday. I think a sister was seriously sick, and because La Hospital is not in operation, they're supposed to take her to the Lakma. Before they got there, she died. So this and many more are the issues that we expect the Ministry of Health to address.
And your concern is similar to mine, that this is a hospital, this is a facility that serves a population of people. It's a health facility, so this is about life and death. And yes, there are structural issues, but wasn't there an alternative? Like, you take one side, refurbish it, rather than demolition, and then there is no way to access healthcare in that place unless you go all the way to Lekma, right? Why? Because even as they tell us, if you are about to leave a job, your leg has to be on something. So you don't just go cold turkey. If you want to better healthcare for us, and knowing the way the economy can get in the state of affairs in the country, would it not be rather prudent that, okay, let us refurbish the OPD. When we finish refurbishing, we come to this part, because now the place has been demolished. Maybe even, okay, we don't know the details about the demolition, but what about the equipment and all of that? If they could have even put up a structure, like you were saying, almost see polyclinic BC, because now it's been 4 years since 2020. And I would plainly say it does not look like this is a matter of urgency, because this is the health of people. This hospital, in whatever rickety looking way it was still serving people. People were able to go and deliver their kids, or even just get general healthcare access. Now that has been lost for 4 years now. How many lives have been lost just because of that? Even we've got one report, but how many have been lost that we do not know of? How many women have not been able to have their children? Or how many people have died of very preventable illnesses just because they could not access healthcare in their community.
We've seen a lot of, protests and demonstrations from the people of La for their hospital, because it is a person, need, a person concern that they need immediate attention. And I wasn't surprised when the ranking member of the Health Committee of Parliament, Kwabena Minta Akando, raised concerns about transparency regarding the construction and funding of the hospital, because according to him, he says government has not been truthful to the people of La, because I think somewhere, is it 2022, in the budget, it was stated that, some money were allocated for the reconstruction of the building. And so what has happened to the money?
Yes.
Can't we have like one block, a structure to, start working as we complete the other parts, just like Yaira was saying?
Yes. So, Mimi, back to that. I think the October time frame was for the OPD, the completion of the OPD. And as we speak, which is supposed to have a capacity of 164
beds,
rooms, yes, beds. But they have not even completed that. So we hope to see the Ministry of Health, as they released a statement yesterday, that they are going to involve all stakeholders. They should do it as soon as possible
we can do
for
this.
The people of La, because they are really suffering.
A lot of, with, is it Abraham Maslow's theory of needs? Healthcare is one of our basic needs. So this should be something that's treated with urgency. You've demolished the whole hospital. Within 6 months to a year, we should be seeing something. Even if it's an uncompleted building, it should be functioning in a way or something. But, here on Cocoa Digest, we remain hopeful, as usual. So we have quite a number of comments. So this one says, this is in reference to Ikadonko's death in the advocacy. He says, HM Joe says, we do advocate for young, energetic and vibrant persons to run the country, but then it is said that it's an error for the age of a president to be younger than the years of the country's independence. Asemo Ankasa. Hey. Now, D&J Ventures says, good morning. I think US should be more concerned about their country. Some naive individuals will think it's a good idea. It's just another way to control the outcome. They are indirectly threatening those who are against their agenda. Hey.
Agenda setting.
More comments. HM Joe also says, people trolling us per seconds have a funny political aspect to it. Our school color, breaking the 8, and the tag we gave our 9th title, Adonai, linking Adodi. Hey, I have no idea about this.
This one is straight to you.
Then we also have, good morning. I'm watching live from Teshi. My condolences to the family of Madame Ikadonko and the entire GFP members. Thank you very much. Then we also have, yes. So this one says, Rose Entertainment. It's a beautiful brand new day. Good morning to you all. This is Charles watching from Dubai. And then there's good morning, Cocoa Digest, still Persec with fire emojis. I will be back. We will be back next year. It was some learning hitches. This is from Isaac Asari from Sunyane. He'll be back anytime soon. 8 more years before you come.
Oh, they'll be back. They'll be back. I trust the process.
So HM, okay, I've read this already. Now we have Lady's Journey. She says, "Love conquers all, and with this act, we shall walk as Christ did." Thank you so much. Then, okay, yes, our comments, these are the comments we have for now. Thank you so much for sending in your comments to us. And thank you for joining the live stream as well. So the next story here is about the baby that was allegedly sold for 300 cedis in SEKONDI was found under mysterious circumstances. So a 2-week-old baby reportedly sold for 300 Ghana cedis in Nkontompo, a community within the SEKONDI Takoradi metropolis of the Western region, has been discovered under unusual circumstances. Mamiesi, the elder sister of the baby's mother, informed an FM station on October 28 that they found the baby at approximately 2 a.m. on Monday right at the doorstep of the mother's home in Nkontompo. She suspects that someone might have placed the baby there in the dark of the night. And there's a quote here. "I was asleep when someone alerted me that a baby had been abandoned on the doorstep of my sister. I quickly got there and it was the baby who was gone missing. We still do not know who brought the baby at that time, but we have come to the police station to lodge an official complaint, she indicated. Now, at the office of the Western Region Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, that's DOVSU, the baby could have been wrapped. The baby could be seen wrapped in a cloth, and he looks hale and hearty. So, the story of the lady who sold the baby for 300 cedis allegedly, the baby is back.
We thank God.
Yes, that's the only thing we will say. We thank God.
And is the mother with the baby?
I think she would get arrested.
Of course.
Because this is literally
is it the mother
trafficking.
who sold the baby?
Yeah, according to reports, it seems there was a little transaction. There was a middleman and something like that. So she got her 300 cedis. And I think there was even a little conversation about that in my office. And it went back down to my usual standard of living.
Yara, this is not standard of living.
It is.
This is not standard of living. We shouldn't put this on standard of living.
It is.
Why will you sell a baby and you call it standard of living?
Is it not hunger that will drive somebody?
Yara,
even Jacob and Esau.
This is not hunger. This is lack of love. I wish the woman listening to our motivation quotes this morning, she will get to understand that being pregnant for 9 good months and putting to bed. That's what.
I even think there is a reason why God intentionally created that pain, attached to childbirth. Because if you are a mother and you've been able to, deliver, or you've been delivered of a child, and you are able to sell the child.
I'm here to confuse whether she's the one who sold the child.
I don't think the pain was,
I also believe that the level of poverty probably transcended the pain.
Let's put away
because
poverty.
The child is innocent.
Let's put away poverty.
So there's this, this on Nigeria Twitter where they are saying it is who has eaten that can maybe press phone, or so sometimes the person will sell his phone, just to get something to eat. There are people suffering that much,
but not to the extent of selling a baby.
But okay,
for how
not
much?
to the extent of somebody sold his birthright for food.
No, that one is biblical point of view, and that biblical point of view is trying to communicate to we mankind something.
Yes,
it's just God used that scenario to communicate.
He lost a lot of things, right?
Yes, he did, and this is somebody who is willing to sacrifice her child. That, as you are all saying here, this is something so valuable.
And I'm so happy that we have laws against child trafficking.
It is trafficking, and I am happy that the child has been brought back. But what are the repercussions? The money that she was paid, is she going to have to refund? And if she refunds it, and maybe that money was supposed to cater to some needs of hers, and now she refunds it.
It is not her problem. She didn't think about all these things before.
No, were we not here when we got the story of the lady who poisoned herself and her kids because they could not survive? So it is possible. I'm not saying that it is justification.
It is not possible. Now, how will you sell your child because of poverty?
People do leave their kids on some refuse dump just because they know they cannot cater to that child.
But they know you cannot. What happened to seeking for help? What happened to asking people to support you?
Mimi, that question to a different question.
No.
Because in our current state...
I will ask.
Yes.
I will ask for...
But this is having a child. People will tell you, did you not know you did not have the capacity to take care of this child before you went to do the activities that bring forth children? You don't have to pay attention
to what people say. They will say it, but they will help you.
Will they?
They will. If you don't help me, Clement will help me.
I will.
Because he loves me.
Exactly. That's why I think the people of SEKONDI should watch more Clock TV morning show. They'll get to understand this morning quote is for the woman and the family.
Seriously.
Because when you love, like as we said, love. Odo rian kunimdie. It is a wodo ba won ton woba.
For 300 cedis.
But I doubt.
Hey, let's behave ourselves. So we have a few more comments coming up. So this one says, for the issue of the hospital, they are giving a temporary facility at Latano. Okay, I may not have pronounced it well. I'm sorry. Latino.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Latino. Okay, Latino inside La. But notwithstanding, the hospital must be completed by all cost, or at all costs. That's what he's trying to say. Then we also have Yes, we have a Goodyear Film Production saying, still waiting patiently to hear the good news about the OPD working. And Rose Entertainment is also, I think, in reference to the baby being sold, postpartum depression. That is also a very possible reason someone would sell their child. So thank you so much for your comments.
I think with the La issue, we'll have to, one day invite Eunice over and then
she lives
I
there.
can see she's whispering a lot of things to us.
Okay. So the third story here says the Supreme Court to hear the anti-LGBT cases on October 31. So the Supreme Court has scheduled Thursday, October 31, to resume hearing the applications filed by broadcast journalist Richard Delasky and gender activist Dr. Amanda Odoi regarding the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, commonly known as the Anti-Gay Bill. Richard Delasky, who is also a private legal practitioner, is contesting the constitutionality of the anti-LGBTQ bill, while Dr. Odoi has submitted an injunction against the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General. She is requesting a court order to prevent the Speaker, Attorney General, and Clerk of Parliament from forwarding the passed bill to President Akufo-Addo for his approval. During the last adjournment, the lawyers representing the Speaker of Parliament were instructed to submit their disclosures within 7 days after acknowledging that their previous inaction had led to delays in the case's proceedings. Now, the hearing has faced numerous delays since July, with supporters of the anti-LGBTQ bill accusing the judiciary of hindering progress. They have organized a demonstration to express their frustration and are urging that legal proceedings be expedited.
But why has this issue delayed in courts? Why? The other time when these, parliamentary issues came up, we were surprised that, there are so many
that same day
pending issues at court, yet with our very own vacant seats, we had an immediate ruling from the Supreme Court. I don't understand why this issue has delayed in court. Some will see it as a political tool, something to take our attention of the pressing, concerns happening in the country, like Galamsey, for instance. And so they intentionally delay such issues and then bring it up again so people can talk about it, and then our minds are shifted.
But for me, with a bill, I think it should be reviewed. And certain things, even though they're already in the Constitution, should be added to it to emphasize. There should be some emphasis on it, like pedophilia, the rape, and molestation as well. Because yes, this is mainly about sexual orientation, and some people also claim they are attracted to children and things like that. If more emphasis is placed, because in our society here, even though we are sort of improving when it comes to cases on molestation and pedophilia, we still need that emphasis placed on it as much as it is being placed on homosexuality, so that when that bill is passed, we can, just like there are some provisions or sanctions for anybody who is caught in any act or all of that, because all of these things are all termed under unnatural carnal knowledge. And children being affected is something that's on my heart. And I think that if we add it and it's emphasized and the bill is passed, then it's fine. But if it is just about the term that people usually like to use, for decorous reasons, I won't, just because it is men and men or women and women, it should not. It should go beyond that. Even on our TV and radio stations, the kinds of conversations that people have, talking about their activities and exposing children to these. Sometimes you even find a TV show and they're talking about sex positions. And yes, under normal circumstances, children should not have access to that. But why should such things even be put on TV for children? That's one of the questions I'm also asking, that if we are going to put some sort of ban on some of the activities, we should put it on all the activities that come together to talk about the sexual orientation of people, whether you are straight, as they call it, or homosexual, or whatever sexual you are, everything that encapsulates it. Because at the end of the day, we are trying to protect our young. We are trying to and also these are things that are not, as we say, our cultural values. People touching children is not our cultural value. It should be emphasized that no, we shouldn't allow this. And so if there's a delay, maybe some of these things could be added to it to take away the attention and then even prevent the mob action. Because when this bill is passed, if we don't take care, people may take the law into their own hands and try to attack whoever they find. As if it's a man who's a little effeminate, you find people ambushing him like he's an armed robber and things like that, because it is not part of our cultural values. I don't know if what I'm saying makes some sense.
It does, but I'm also looking at, the rights of these people. In as much as we are against it, I also feel they have their rights to, freely exhibit any kind of sexual behavior they want to. So this conversation actually is something that needs to be, thought through and out before some decisions can be made.
Exactly.
They said the main basis of it is that our cultural, religious, and familial values do not support such.
That is our culture.
Yes.
But don't forget that some people were not born here. They were born out there and then they came back home. So what happens to such people?
That is why
are you trying to make their home unsafe for them?
So, Mimi, I decided not to talk about this.
Oh no, we have to explore all angles.
Yes. So no matter the kind of home you were brought up, this activity is never part of Ghanaian culture. As Yaira said, the religious leaders are against it. Opinion leaders are against it. But there are few who have gone to court against this very issue, of which somewhere in, let me get that information right, somewhere in June, when they went to Supreme Court for injunction, preventing the Speaker of Parliament to present the bill to the President, the Supreme Court gave a ruling. He said Ghana Supreme Court has deferred the ruling on the request to restrain Parliament from transmitting the anti-LGBT bill filed by Dr. Amanda Odei until the substantive case is heard and determined. This came out somewhere in the month of June when this issue of anti-LGBT bill was coming up. So if they said they are going to hear or sit on the matter again, I think they need to, so that we see what will come up next. The discussion, the detailed discussion today, I wouldn't say much into it. I think we will use another day to talk much because our time is fast spent.
Yes.
We use another day to talk much about that.
I also want to add something about our journalists actively participating in advocacy on this issue. For me, I think it goes against the ethics of journalism, because as journalists, we are supposed to be objective. We are supposed to fight for the marginalized. We are supposed to be the voice for the voiceless. But here is the case where we find most journalists actively, advocating for this bill to be passed. What's message are you sending across the marginalized? Because in this case, those that find themselves in that act are the marginalized. So they should act objectively. I'm just coming from ethics.
I understand your point.
It's part of the profession. So
that's
make sure that you do not make it look as if you are against them, because you are supposed to represent them.
That's very good. So in as much as always we speak for the marginalized group, in any situation, there is always a marginalized group. So if we the media or journalists, we are always going to be objective in such matters, then trust me, we wouldn't always speak to issues as it is.
It is part of the job.
Because let's look at the issue of Galamsey. Let's look at the issue of Galamsey. We have the marginalized in it.
Yes.
But the whole media coalition stood against it. Every media house was talking about it. So should they sit aloof?
Because
and look at
the reason why we were against it was because it was affecting everyone. It was a general thing that was affecting. How does somebody's Sebi?
Hey.
How does it affect?
Okay, so I think Yara, for the sake of time, we wouldn't drag this. But let
the
give
whole
out.
thing is there should be some parameters as to how these things are done. Like, as I was saying, I am advocating for keeping all these sexual orientation things away from children, whether straight to homosexual to I don't know, that is sexual, anything, if you're attracted to metals, to even to human beings, whatever, keep it away from children. Keep adults from engaging in any sexual activity with children, because at the end of the day, it is the children we are thinking about. So that is my point of view. And then the fact that influence, there should, you see, so this bill has to be passed in a way that it does not infringe on the rights of people. Yes. Maybe here you are not allowed to marry, but until you are innocent until you are proven guilty. So if you are not also overtly showing any signs of anything that would cause you to be found wanting under that bill, I think you should be able to live your life.
Yes.
But if you are doing things stipulated in the bill and you are caught, you are being public about it in the name of being myself. I'm not saying repress and suppress yourself and your personality, but there should be some things to guide, because we are humans and we cannot say that just because of the majority's sentiments we would just stifle the minority or the marginalized.
And then even issues
coming to Galamsey, there's this quote, I think it's by, is it Abu Sankara, that champagne, we shouldn't sacrifice water for all, for champagne for some. The people who want quick money, who are engaging in this Galamsey, are going to cause all of us to go and be drinking or even consuming polluted water just because they want to survive, which is a very, very different scenario, plays vis-a-vis the LGBT issue.
This is not a different scenario.
It is.
Galamsey started some years ago, right? Some years ago. If this LGBT now we are talking about, saying that the journalists, due to our professional ethics, we shouldn't speak either against it or let's speak for it. We should just speak our mind as it's supposed to be. That is the same basis how Galamsey was planted in the economy of Ghana. And this is where we are today, where it is affecting everybody. Ghana Water Company is crying. If this thing also come to stay, trust me, some years ahead of us, 20 years to come, our kids and this thing will be normal in the streets of Accra. But away from that, Yara, away from that,
can we place the effect on the same scale as our water bodies?
We can.
Basic need.
Yes, we can.
Being polluted to the highest level.
More than the word highest, because in the Bible it happened to the Sodom and Gomorrah. What happened? Oh, trust me, it can come in so many ways. So let's protect it today.
You see,
let's save it today and leave it.
Let's be honest here. It is not the bill that will prevent people from indulging in whatever they want to indulge. This bill can be passed. People will be doing it in secret, and God will still send the fire.
Yes, do it in secret. Yes, we have no problem. We have no problem with you doing it in your room.
In secret,
and the bill has been passed.
How do you
now when the fire comes, what happens?
It's you and your God. Our whole issue is
at the end of the day,
we hear that people are doing it, but we've not seen it. But with Galamsey, we've seen it with our colloquial.
So wait, Yara, don't go. Let me give this. There was a breaking news. 8 dead in Boko conflict as gunmen block Bolgatanga Tamale Highway.
Yeah. Wow.
So 8 people are dead in Boko conflict. You see, it's issue that is really happening to the extent that some political parties have suspended their campaign.
Yes. The Ghana police also released a press statement about their security and enforcement team to make sure that the people of Boko, Bolgatanga, those using that commute are safe.
Okay, sure.
So, wrapping up, let's take the last comments that came through. So, HM Joe says, the baby selling, I might side with Yaira on this one. Mimi, the mother does not want to go through another pain of caring or raising it up. So,
Obese man.
She could have been a victim of rape. We don't know. So let's just leave it there. Please, let's calm down.
Some. The word is some.
Agudia Film Production says things they happen. TA says 300 cedis per. Then HM Joe says, oh Mimi, are you saying this LGBTQ will not affect the country in the long run? Now TA says, what a confused leadership, always acting and doing the right thing whenever there's pressure on them. Then we have okay, so this one says, this is from I think Obiba. He says, oh Mimi, this human rights and human left issues. Then someone says, hey, okay, He says, Yaira, how can you sell your child for 300 cedis? Do you know what this child could be? If you can't take care of her, just send her to a children's home. Some mothers don't have love at all, yet we celebrate them more than fathers. It's not a competition.
That's the word.
Please.
This one, yeah, I support you.
Else we'll go another 20 minutes. So this is from Kingsford Esilfi Sego. And yes, thank you so much for your comment.
Oh, I wanted to hear comments, for our last discussion.
No.
Producer keeps
our time is up.
Signaling us.
Thank you so much for joining in the conversation, sending in your comments to our live stream and onto our WhatsApp numbers. It is still the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. Up next is the business segment with Clement Yabankuye. He's going to be taking us into the world of business, home and abroad. We will be right back.